What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with an unboxing of the T-Mobile SpringBoard. This is a lot of tablet in a little package. We first saw it at CTIA just about a month ago. It's made by a company called Huawei, which was the biggest questions I had about the tablet was, how do you pronounce the company's name? It's Hua, as in Hua, 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 and Wei as in go that way. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if it deserves a tiny little spot in your bag. All right, so let's take a look at this 7-inch SpringBoard. We've got a picture of the tablet on the front, SpringBoard text, all kinds of other SpringBoard goodness, features. We'll run through all this stuff. Most of it you should know. Google Talk, Gmail, YouTube, Slacker Radio, Zinio Newsstand. Awesome. All that stuff you'd expect from a modern Android tablet. So this guy is going to be available on November 16th for $180 with a 2-year contract and a $50 mail-in rebate, or $430 if you want to just buy it outright. It's running Android 3.2 Honeycomb, which coincidentally is also my favorite breakfast cereal. If only there was Android Apple Jacks, I would be a happy fellow. All right, so we'll pull off the box. This was sent to us from the T-Mobile PR folks. Take the tablet out. Pretty nondescript on the front. Got a black bezel on the screen. It was upside down. Looks like some aluminum or aluminium, as some of you like to say, with some plastic on it. Push it off to the side. Oh, just a second. We shall pull this off in dramatic fashion. Dun, 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 dun. Chipmunk's got nothing on me. We've got a power brick because micro USB doesn't carry enough power for most tablets. So we've got a little, I forgot what these things are called, little dealie for interference. And what kind of port are we looking at? We're looking at that one for charging. And of course, that end goes into a wall. But if you need to be told that end goes to a wall, you probably shouldn't be using a tablet. Then you've got your micro USB port, cord for syncing. We've seen all that business before. Let's take a look at this little 7-inch guy. Go ahead and peel off the plastic, we'll power it up, we'll run through some of the specs, we'll do a little bit of hands-on. All right, so here is the SpringBoard, again made by Huawei. Say it with me, Huawei, Huawei. I had to say that about 7 times before I was able to film this intro and get it right. All right, so let's find the power button, which I think lives right there. And while this thing is turning on, hopefully it's got enough juice. I'll tell you what some of the specs are. There you go. I felt it vibrate. SpringBoard. So we are looking at 7.48 inches by 5.08 inches by 0.41 inches. It's pretty thin little tablet. Weighs 14.4 ounces. It's got a 7-inch IPS display with a resolution of 1280 by 800. So for those of you doing math at home, that's 217 pixels per inch. It's going to let you know that it's T-Mobile. With a 4,100 milliamp hour battery, being powered by a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core chip made by Qualcomm. Giga RAM in here, 16 gigs of storage, expandable with micro SD. We've got a 5 megapixel camera on the back that can shoot 720p and a 1.3 megapixel shooter on the front. Uses T-Mobile's HSPA Plus 4G network and capable of, theoretically, 14.4 megabits per second down. All right, so let's take a look at the tablet. You have pretty decent specs for what's price-wise a relatively budget-conscious tablet. You're getting a dual core, you're getting a Giga RAM, you're getting a really sort of solid spec, so we'll go ahead and hit start. Next. Next. I don't want to set anything up. Skip. Android guy. And now we're looking at Honeycomb with bonus apps. They're telling you that it's bonus apps. They have to tell you they're a bonus. Generally, they're not so much. All right, so let's see what's going to come in here. We'll go ahead and take a look at the apps. Interesting, they sort of scale to just the top, 75% of the screen. So you can see what we got here. Some stuff pre-installed, AccuWeather, Blockbuster, some T-Mobile exclusive stuff, Get Web Now, Slacker Radio, Gello, Netflix pre-installed, T-Mobile hotspot, so that's great. And Zinio, let's see if we get any custom widgets here in this guy. We'll go ahead and hit home. Let's go to so we can get a blank home screen. This is blank enough. So we'll go ahead and delete this. Delete. Why did it not delete? Hold this down. Wow, you must add an account to continue. Do you want to add now? No, I just want to delete a widget. Well, let me see if I can show you what the widgets are. So, we've got, assuming I can read properly and see what we have, we've got AccuWeather, analog clock, bookmarks, books, calendar, all the stuff that we've seen. This all looks pretty standard. Looks like Huawei or T-Mobile didn't really add anything that exciting here. So there's some T-Mobile mobile to-do lists, exclusive stuff. We've got mobile shopping list. Now we're back into the standard Android stuff, Slacker. You guys can see all the widgets that we've got here. So this is pretty stock Honeycomb. Looks to be, again, a relatively decently spec'd tablet. I'll run it through some tests and tell you if it's worth your hard-earned Skrilla, cash, clams, cabbage, check, pesos, any other words you can think of for money, if it's worth your hard-earned some of those. This is the T-Mobile SpringBoard. I keep thinking of the Mario games, you know, when he jumps on the springboard. All right, so let's see what we got on the tablet itself. So as I mentioned, you got that pretty familiar, love to get sued for the form factor with the black bezel and then the screen in the middle. Camera lives on the right-hand side, and we're looking at it in this orientation. So if you hold it upside down, things are going to be a little bit different. On the back, as mentioned, we've got that aluminum feel. We've got plastic here, and I assume that this will pop out. And that's where your SIM card is going to live. Non-removable battery, though, so that's your T-Mobile HSPA Plus SIM card. So I can get this back without breaking something, which is always a challenge. Push in. Go. That's not going to work. I'm totally going to break this. All right, let's try that again. I'm going to keep this on camera. You can see the struggles of a tech reviewer. There we go. Boom. All right, and then there's the camera we talked about. 2 speakers on the top, 3.5 millimeter headset jack. You can see sort of an antenna breaks there. Power and lock button on the upper right-hand corner. Volume rocker up and down. On the bottom, that's where you're going to charge. HDMI out, and then for doing all your syncing, you also have a microphone there. If you want to treat this as a giant 7-inch phone and get some Skype on, you can do that. You can also see what the keyboard skin here looks like. Let's see if we can get another orientation there, less glary. You can see what that's going to look like as well. This is a swipe style keyboard, so I can swipe around. Anyway, you've got, of course, your virtual buttons, that honeycomb and ice cream sandwich. We haven't heard much about ice cream sandwich coming on this guy, but presumably it's going to make its way to it as well. All right, guys, so I am John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. Be sure to check us out at technobuffalo.com for all your tech news, for exclusive unboxing, hands-on, occasionally bad jokes, and sometimes even a funny one. I'm John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.